What is going on? What is going on? What is going on, party people? It's your boy, Coach Steve Brown, former big leaguer, former first round pick with the Kansas City Royals over there giving you this knowledge, bringing on the hottest guest. I always say college, man, but we doing the big time today. All right, we going big time. We going big league today. All right, so holler at me if you guys have any help, want any help with the recruiting side, want to get into school, holler at your boy. All right, but let's go back to what I know. I always talk about I bring on these college coaches and shout out to my boy Coach Hollins yesterday from Tuskegee and all the 100+ college coaches that's been on, man. But when it comes to this baseball, man, I'm a pro dude, through and through. As much as I bring on these college guys and I love them to death, man, but I definitely love talking some pro side of things. All right, so I was telling my boy over here that's to the side of me that this might be the first. I had minor leaguers on, but I haven't had a current big leaguer on at all the 400+ shows, man. So he is the first, man. So without further ado, man, we have Baltimore outfielder Cedric Mullins, man, joining us today, man. Ced, what's good, bro?
And not much, D. Doing the thing and happy to be on the show.
No doubt, man. Well, listen, man. I always do this, man. This is a special occasion, man. And I appreciate you taking out the time. I know right now it's full on all season grind mode, getting ready for spring training. I know what them Januaries feel like, man. So I appreciate you taking out the time and doing this. And I know my audience will feel the same. So, but all my guests, every time they come on, I like to kind of give them the background, all right, where they from, how they to the point to where they are right now, and such for you being a Baltimore Orioles outfielder, man. So tell little people where you from, playing career, leading up high school, college, drafted, and then all right.
I got you. So was born in Greensboro, North Carolina. Moved down to Georgia right around the time I was 1, and been living in Gwinnett County ever since. Got introduced to baseball when I was 4 years old. Started playing out at Gresham Park, so I know a lot of Georgia people know about Gresham. High school career, played at Brookwood. Went to Brookwood all 4 years, and college. Started at a junior college, Lewisburg College out in North Carolina. So I went back up to North Carolina. Got a lot of family up there, so it was a comfortable spot, and the baseball was competitive. So that's why I made that decision there. And after my 2 years at Lewisburg, transferred to Campbell University, mid D1, but the same deal. I was going to have an opportunity to play every day, give my chance an opportunity to be looked at by potential pro scouts. And that's exactly what happened in my third year in college, but only year at Campbell. And then ended up getting picked up by the Baltimore Orioles in 2015 in the 13th round. And was sent to short season A, just like majority of all players when they first get drafted. So, it was kind of a grind, just finishing out a college year and leading straight into playing baseball every single day. So it was kind of an adjustment physically, because I never understood what it really took. And finally got introduced to the real grind of playing every day, which was, something that I was looking forward to continuing through years to come. Ended up in low A the following year, had a really solid showing. I want to say I batted around 270 on the year, but I had double-digit homers, triples, and doubles.
I saw that
year. So instead of them, and I had a really good showing the following year in spring training.
Okay.
And they skipped me from high A to double A.
Nice.
And started off really hot.
Mm-hmm.
Was feeling really good, but then I ran into a hamstring injury early in the season, kept me out about 8 weeks total. So it was a lot of baseball that I had missed that year. So, at that point, there were a couple of guys that were continuing to make their push. A couple of guys got called up. That might have been, behind me in the depth chart, but ended up getting pushed forward. Came back the next year, really strong year, ended up playing half the season in Double A, second half of the season in Triple A, and then got called up that last couple months, so August and September. And the experience has been amazing. It's been a complete grind, even past the minors. Dealing with the pressures of the crowd, the fans. I took over Adam Jones's spot, which was huge for a man who had put 10 years with the Orioles alone.
Right.
Has had a ridiculously successful career. So to come behind him trying to fill his shoes, it felt like I put a little too much pressure on myself. So I ended up struggling a little early. Came back 2019, had more struggles. So I ended up getting sent back down to AA or AAA initially, seeing if I could figure things out, mainly with my swing. Nothing defensively that truly needed to be worked on. Still couldn't get everything quite together, so had more struggles. Got sent down again to AA, and that's when things started picking up. That was a really humbling experience.
I'm gonna talk about that.
Having to be sent down all the way back to AA, and then come 2020, COVID hits. I went out to St. Louis to meet up with Rick Strickland, the hitting guru, who introduced a lot of technology and could show me different numbers that I was putting out with my swing and how it could be more effective if I could reach a certain point or a certain consistency. And so came back, felt really good. Spring training was feeling really good, but then we got canceled. So ended up spending my quarantine in Virginia. So I wasn't too far from the AAA field, but I also wasn't too far from Baltimore either.
Right.
So it's just at the drop of the hat, I could be anywhere.
Right.
And but I did what I could. I went to a high school that was near where I was staying. Just did a lot of track work. They had a cage in there where I would just hit off the tee. Hit off the tee constantly that year when the season finally started up. Was feeling really good. Started putting up numbers.
Man, so much to dive into, man. I'm gonna go backwards a little bit though, man. We're gonna talk big leagues, man. But I like the grind up. All right, you went through some. You're going through it. It's just, and honestly, it's just a rite of passage. I hate to say it, and everybody has that. You get up and you just start putting up numbers. I mean, hell, even Mike Trout got sent down. You know what I'm saying, to the minor leagues. So it happens, right? But I want you to go back to, and I hope all my listeners y'all hear, right? I'm gonna go back to the college side of things. You said out of high school. Where'd you go out of high school?
Junior college, Lewisburg.
Okay. Another junior college dude. I don't know what it is. Okay. I keep, I'm just on the phone with a dad earlier. He's worried about school, and I said junior, and here you are, a big leaguer, a big league over here, started at junior college. All right. Every pro guy that I bring on here, I brought on here, ex-friend, teammates of mine, whoever, started at junior college. So my boy goes to junior college, then goes to the 4-year school, gets drafted in the 13th round, balls out, shows combination, the way I'm looking at it, combination of speed, power, and obviously the ability to hit and play defense. So we're talking multiple tools right there, right? That's why he's able to, not to say 13th round is poo-poo, but it ain't like a high round. He had to essentially establish himself as a prospect. He ain't coming in walking in the door as a high round pick. He had to establish himself and start moving up the ladder, which he was able to do. It sounds like that 270 year when you hit multiple home that breakout, minor league, you put yourself on the map over there, and that's what catapult that skipped you to AA, right, when you did your thing, right?
Yeah. So
cool.
In terms of the top 30 prospects, of course, when I first got drafted, it wasn't in the top 30. After that low A year, I think that cracked me in the top 20, somewhere in there. And then after my year or first stint in AA, that put me in the top 5. So it was just consistent grinding, kept bumping up on the board, and it's just making it happen.
How is the mindset when you get drafted? We're gonna talk about big leagues, but I want to know the mindset going into the draft. I mean, going into rookie ball, short season A, and when you get drafted, you're elated because you drafted, but now you're in it. Now, everybody else is fighting for positions, jobs, money, you know what I'm saying? It's your job. What was your approach to this? And, how was your mindset going into this when you first got into it? I'd love to hear, athletes talk about that.
Yeah, I would definitely say there was a learning curve that you had to pick up on pretty quickly. Like you said.
And I love what you said, playing every day too, man. That, talk about how tough that is. And you played a college schedule, but playing every day. Elaborate a little bit more on that too. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, so going into from a college schedule to a professional schedule, I played, I don't know, roughly 50 games at the college level. Of course, weekends being the most games I play in a row, and then we'd have games throughout the week that we played during the season. But when I got to pro ball, we had like 60 to 70 games straight. Like we have take one day off in a month. It feel like I remember that we had at least 25 straight games without a day off, and I was just like, wow, this this is gonna be something to experience because I already knew my body was tired. I didn't know how to maintain any sort of physical um, like balance with having to play every day. So it was a matter of, how am I feeling? Where do I put all of my energy at? What start trying to figure out, learn how to eat so I could be properly nutrition wise. Just it was a whole lot that I had to try to pick up on.
Yeah.
And it was good for me to have people around me that could kind of guide me, show me the way in terms of some of those aspects. And going into my first off season, that's really what the focus was. It was learning how to take care of your body for a full season, learn how to eat properly, even though you're going to be in places where the best thing possible is McDonald's. Like, it's what do you get off that menu that can help you perform at the highest level the next day? And those were things that I had to really learn quick. Otherwise, I was going to falter in one aspect or another, whether that be just performance-based, injuries, just all kinds of stuff.
I love that, man, because I'm laughing because I remember them days. I remember that first full season, man. By August, I didn't want to get out of bed, man, until a game. I mean, like I had no energy, and it's an adjustment to learn how to play 100 plus games a year. But now, you go through the system, and now you're knocking on the door in the major leagues, and you get that call. And not only you get that call, you're playing. I don't know, did they win the World Series that year? Or I mean, honestly, the World Series caliber team. Yeah, they might. Right. So it just I'll be the first to tell you I don't watch a whole lot of big league games. All right, but it just so happened I happened to be flipping through the channel, and I saw my man over here, his first, I want to say, was it your first AB you got the knock to? Yeah. And I remember, so can you go through that experience? Can you go through, get that call, and then to get, know that you're going to be playing and who you're facing, who your hit was, and all of that. Talk about that experience.
3 or 4 days, even before I got the call, I ended up getting a stomach bug. So I was literally not even playing for a few days. And then I went to the manager. I told him, I was like, hey, I'll be good to go tomorrow. So he was like, we'll give you 1 more day. So I was just hydrating all day, trying to make sure I'm feeling good, staying out the sun.
Right.
And then the game ended. And then as I'm getting dressed, manager calls me to his office. And I thought he was just going to, check up on me 1 more time, and then I'm good to go tomorrow. And he's like, hey, you're going to the bigs tomorrow. And I was like, are you serious? Like, yeah. When I tell you the emotions were running rampant, because I literally, when you play every day and then you don't play for 4 days, it feels like a month. So I was literally like freaking out. I was like, oh God, can I get some BP or something?
Right.
I need something. Like, I feel no kind of rhythm. And so I ended up making the drive that night, about 4 hours. Got in around 10, 11 that night. And I immediately told my folks that I got the call up. And
how was that call?
Oh yeah, it was short and sweet because they knew I had to get my rest, or at least try to. And I was like, so what are y'all gonna do? And Dad was like, we're getting on the road now. I was like, you're gonna drive? Like, yeah. I was like, we're talking about 12 plus hours that they have to make within a day.
Right. Wow.
But they did it. And I said, hey, your name's gonna be on the list. So I get in the clubhouse, I'm surrounded by all these top tier dudes. I'm like, man, I got Adam Jones, Jonathan Scope, just crazy. And I was like, okay, so, trying to get acclimated real quick, trying to figure out, where's the cage at? So I'm trying to, but at the same time, do I get in early? Do I go later? Like, what time do y'all go? Because I need to be out of y'all's way
Right.
So I can get my work in and y'all get y'all's work in, so I don't get yelled at by nobody or step on any toes. So it felt like I was walking on eggshells a little bit, but that's just the life of it. You got to go through that being a rookie. And so again, I still had a little bit of the symptoms of the stomach bug that day. So I, had to make a few runs, but finally got the game time and I was feeling good. I was like, okay, the stomach settled down, got some food in me. All right, let's go. And I was used to being out on the field 20 minutes before game time, give me plenty of time to stretch, get some sprints in, get ready to go. I do the same exact thing here, and I'm literally the first one outside between both teams. And I thought I was doing something wrong. And I was like, you know what? Don't even worry about it. Just keep doing what you're doing. So, of course, the fan base was won my autograph. So, I had a little time to sign a few before I started stretching, got stretched out. And I was like, okay, we're getting real close to game time. The crowd's really filling up now. I know I think I saw my family come in. I had an idea of where their section was, so I kept kind of looking out for them. And then it's time to take the field. And Adam Jones was telling me, hey, the center fielder leads the charge. I'm like, what you talking about, man? Y'all go ahead and handle this. I'll just take the field whenever.
Right.
Oh, so they had to egg me on for about a solid 30 seconds or so. And I finally took a few steps out. And I'm the only one that went all the way around the grass as to not step on the dirt. And I see everyone else cutting through the infield.
Right.
Oh, this is big leagues. Okay.
Right. That's right. Right.
They ain't worried about it.
Right.
Not worried about it. So we, Adam Jones had his words of wisdom for me on that day. He was like, hey, just no pressure. It's just a bigger stadium. That's it. Same game. I was like, all right, man. Right. Broad scheme of things. But it was funny because I wasn't nervous about my hitting. I was nervous about the defense. I was like, these guys, grown men, hitting a ball that potentially got some juice behind it. I'm not trying to look silly. Even taking some balls off the grass was faster.
Right.
Like the ball came off harder. So I was like, we gotta be locked in.
Right.
And so of course we're the home team, so we're on defense first. And I was just like, okay, let me get through these innings before I got a hit. So we finally got to the third inning, if I'm not mistaken. And I finally got up to the plate, and then all the nerves just went away.
Really?
All the nerves went away. I wasn't worried about who I was facing.
Really?
I was just like, we're getting in this box and we're gonna make something happen.
Right. You're gonna do what you've been doing your whole life, basically.
What I've been doing my whole life. So I remember I was facing Nathan Eovaldi. And we all know he's
those
100. Yeah. Those the 97 mile per hour cutters.
Yeah.
He's got the stuff. So I'm kind of ignorant on what kind of arsenal he has. So I'm just like, hey, we're just gonna see the ball hit the ball. I mean, do anything special.
Right.
And the very first pitch he threw me was a curveball, and I was gonna bunt because we had a man on first and second. Situational, being smart. I'm the 9-hole guy. I can potentially be something out.
Yeah.
And it was about 6 inches outside, and I took it, uncalled a strike. I was like, okay.
You already know.
Going through something.
You're the rookie. You're the rookie. Yeah, you're the rookie. Yeah.
I was like, okay, you can't see it in my face, but it my reaction kind of leveled out to that was a ball. And,
right.
So the next pitch comes, he throws a 99 mile per hour fastball inside. And I take it. I was like, it looked good. So I'm like, oh, I look back.
Okay.
Ball one. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Inside one. All right. And so I'm geared up for a fastball. 1-1 count. He comes back with a 97 cutter. Snap it down right field.
And it down right field. Okay.
The outfield had me in an away shift.
Okay. Turn on 97.
I turned on 97. Linear, RBI double. Get on second base.
Crowd going crazy.
Fist pump. Your
parents.
They were going crazy. This is the first time my dad actually was able to get quality video in a intense moment.
Right.
So I was proud of him for that. But it was an amazing experience. And then the rest of that day, was what it was. I ended up with 3 hits total, 2 doubles on the day, 3 runs scored, 2 RBIs. Like, it was insane.
Yeah, who was like, what's this big league stuff, man? What y'all talking about over here? I got this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I ain't know you had 2. No, I just saw that one, and now did you hit one in the right center gap too? Or no, that's a different game.
I ended up hitting one towards right center. It was kind of center field.
Yeah.
And I think that because I was facing Joe Kelly, and so there was another dude throwing 99.
99, yeah. Putting that bat to ball over there, throwing 99. Okay. I got a couple questions. I'm gonna get this. I want to talk about some of the ups and downs of being in the big league. We talked the highs. I want to talk some of that big league. The reality part where many of us, big leaguers go through. How do you keep your focus when being in such a grind? Long term. Minor leagues and the amount of games, major leagues.
It's the focus comes from being goal oriented. Whether that be short term, long term. If you're truly focused on what you're trying to achieve, the focus really comes naturally after that. You don't get involved in mess outside the field. You make sure that you figure out how to spend your time wisely. Like, everyone needs that break away from baseball sometimes. But not losing focus on what you're trying to accomplish. That's the main thing for me.
I love that, man. I love that. All right. Ty says, these are our family are big Orioles fans and usually see you all on the road. Can players come after games and sign autographs, especially on the road games? It will be a way to thank fans on the road by signing and taking pics with the fans.
I don't think it's impossible. Usually, we're on a time limit when it comes to bus times back to the hotels and stuff like that. So I try to make those times, but there are different times available for us to catch the bus, but they're really split up by like 5 minutes. So it's not that much time between. I might have time for a few, but it's never enough where I can stay out there for an extra 10, 15 minutes to sign autographs. That's why we usually handle it before a game.
All right. Let me see here. All right. Let's go, O's. Can you keep the Adam Jones tradition of throwing signed balls into the stands when he comes from the field into the dugout? That is why Adam Jones was such a fan favorite.
You see, I don't want to necessarily take Adam Jones' thing. I'm going to have to try to think up something that relates to me. And so when people in the future be like, hey, can you do something that Cedric Mullins used to do back in the day? I want that to be the case for me. So I'll consider it, but I'm not going to make it my own thing.
I agree. I love it. All right. The remember, so just a little recap over here. We got Major League Outfielder, Baltimore Orioles Outfielder Cedric Mullins over here joining us, man, sharing this experience of getting drafted, making to the major leagues, getting that first knock, getting 2 knocks out the gate on them. All right. So if you share this, tag this, he's giving some good nuggets about the curse. Give some good nuggets out here, and on what it takes to grind, the mental aspect of like what a big leaguer mindset is. Okay. So let's get into this, man. Let's get into this mindset, man, because we talking to the elation, man. You get your couple of knocks, man. You grinding away. You know what I'm saying? You the elation of you got your family there, the major league. 2 hits first game. You like, man, I got this, man. And then, the reality of playing every day in the big leagues and struggling to hit hits. And I think you said a year, the following year. You know what I'm saying? You go from the high of making the major leagues, being one of only 20,000 people in the world has ever done in the history of baseball, and now you get sent back down. And while you get sent down to AAA, you struggle even more and get sent back down to AA. Talk about the mental aspect of how mentally strong, or if you had struggles with bouts of like, man, what's going on, what's up, can you talk about that? Those times when you go from the big leagues and get it sent down.
Yeah, I'd say that was that was easily the toughest year in my baseball career, like that I've had. Never been one to struggle as long as I did that year. You know, everyone goes through, you know, funks or slumps, whatever you want to call it. But
Mm-hmm.
for the extent of time that I had to deal with it, it was something that I was not used to having to deal with. So I think the mental aspect of that is what really got me. Um, you know, of course, with my poor performance, you know, I'm easily have easy access to media and articles, and you know, people sending me stuff about this, that, and third, and you know, it's a roller coaster of emotions. None of them positive, which you know is something that you can't have when you're playing this game every day at such a high level. And when I finally got to Double A, I think that's when I officially just blank slated everything and was like, okay, I need a clean start, and I need people that I trust to get in my ear. You know,
Mm.
there was a lot of different voices that were telling me to do this, that, the other thing, because all of
Mm.
it led to success for them potentially,
Mm.
but
Mm.
it wasn't necessarily the case for me. So it was, you know, I tried a bunch of different drills, even though I wasn't used to them, because these guys that did them and they saw success with it. And I'm talking to players, and you know, it's hard to talk to a teammate who's having success. Like it's really hard to kind of get that sympathy. You
Right.
know, they empathize with you because they've
Yeah.
been through it. Everyone's
Right.
been through it,
Right.
but they're at their high while you're at your low. So
Right.
they can
Right.
only give you so much
Right.
that's actually
Right.
going to work for you.
No doubt.
So you know, getting to Double A, you know, made my circle very small.
Mm.
Um, you know, and I wasn't cutting people off. I wasn't not talking to my family or friends or nothing like that. You know, those are the people that have been my support system throughout my entire
Mm.
career, my
Mm.
entire life. So I was not going to do that. But
Mm.
in terms of who I would listen to, in terms of mechanics or different drills that they want to do, or different approaches to the game because they had so
Mm.
much experience with that game, those are the people that I was listening to. And when I got down to Double A, that was the main focus, and I started changing my swing up just a little bit, nothing too much that I had to really dig deep into to try to figure it out as I
Mm.
was going,
Mm.
but just enough so that I could kind of feel the adjustments being made to have enough success to continue to work on it and continue to get the climb back up to the bigs again.
Mm. I love what you said, man. It's funny when ball players or parents, I want you guys to listen to this. You know, when hitters are struggling and stuff, it seems like everybody got their little 2 cents, and you know, something that has to be learned is like who to take advice from, who to, basically say thank you but no thank you. And you know, he said he went back to his support system. You know, saying the people that was there from day one. And even though everybody has their best intentions to try to help, but he was like, nah, I gotta tweak this. I gotta find out on my own. But he's like, I ain't going. I have to find my way and like not listen to everybody because everybody has good intentions for the most part. But it's that's a learned skill too. It's learning how to who to listen to, especially when you're struggling. Lord have mercy. I know those days. All right. So, um, Craig says, how long were you in the minor leagues before you got called up?
So I spent 3 years in the minors. So it was 3 full years. So I had my low A. I had the year where I had gotten hurt when I was first into Double A, and then the year following that, I ended up playing Double A, Triple A, and then got called up.
All right. So, real fast, everybody kind of feels like, when you get drafted, you're going straight. It doesn't. Everybody goes to the minor leagues. I think we did this number. I talked about this a year or two ago, but I think it was 10 players that ever went straight drafted out of all the thousands of players that get drafted every year. 10 people went from the draft to the major leagues in the whole history of the game. So 3 years is extremely quick. All right, we'll put it like that. That is extremely quick. All right. And I put an emphasis on extremely quick. I just want to put an emphasis on that because I just want people to have an understanding. All right. You know what I'm saying? People sometimes don't understand. They think their kid gonna get drafted and the next year no, it's a grind. It's a grind. All right. Yvette says, hey D, thanks for being here. Cedric, my question is, what advice or guidance can you offer a high school outfielder with regard to development, improvement, and goals?
So me being an outfielder, I think just paying attention to the minor details is what helped continue to progress my game, especially in terms of development. Like, let's say I was in the outfield, we did the fundamentals. Like, that's something that you cannot avoid, even at the highest level. The
Mm,
fundamentals are so important, and what you do with that is that you take those fundamentals and then you advance them.
mm,
So, in terms of tracking fly balls, like it's so important to track fly balls during BP because that's the only time that you're going to get the best reps of a quote unquote real game scenario. And even ever since high school, like they preached that to us, and I took it to heart because I honestly felt like that was truly the case. Like to not wait until it was game time to learn how to get my first step to be a true step towards the ball and not having any false steps that would lead to you missing it by an inch. In terms of hitting, it was really just finding a routine that worked for me and sticking to it. Like it was making sure that I knew what I was trying to get a feel for when I was if I wasn't feeling that good that day. But when you're swinging it hot, it doesn't matter what you do. I mean, I can go up there without a bat and still get a hit. Like that's just how it is when you're hot.
mm.
Um, but yeah, just even when you are, at your peak performance and you're on a hot streak, I still stick to those routines. I don't falter from them because that's the quickest way to
Mm,
wind up in a slump.
mm, mm. Stick to the routine. Uh, and that's like you said, develop a routine and stick to it. That is the quickest way to success. All right, my boy Nick says you're an asset to the Orioles, my man. All right.
Appreciate it.
We got Sean says, what kind of nutritional resources are provided by teams? I.e., is there a team chef or nutritionist?
So each team is a little different. I know the Orioles have really looked into nutrition throughout the entire system now. I know in the minors we bring a nutritionist in once a year, and she usually early, and she would talk to us about what we could eat or what would be best for us to eat in certain situations. She'd hand us a little piece of paper that was like, "Hey, if you ended up at Wendy's, this is probably the meal you want to eat to give yourself the best nutritional value out of this meal." In the big leagues, you can talk to a nutritionist every day, face to face, if you wanted to. It was, and you have your personal chefs where you feel like you were eating like crap, but at the same time, you're getting your nutrition in. There were still things that you wanted to make sure that you got in your system. We have different stuff like turmeric shots that help with inflammation and wheatgrass shots, just all kinds of stuff. So I'm just like, good, there's a bunch of stuff in there that I don't even want to touch because it looks nasty, uh, but it's good for you in some way. So, but especially in the minor leagues, you have to pay attention to those things because it's tough. Like my, I'd say my average travel, especially in low A, was about 8 hours to wherever we went, and it was by bus every single time. Like it didn't matter how far away it was. We drove, God knows, we had 12-hour trips,
Mm,
on the bus with one maybe two stops, and it's like, well, these two stops, we okay, I have a McDonald's, a Burger King, a KFC.
right,
You don't have your Applebee's where you
right.
can go in and get some vegetables if you really feel like you needed them, or a
Mm-hmm.
Walmart where you could go pick up some fruit. And that's just to say if you have the money for it.
Right.
So
That's a whole
that's
nother,
yeah,
right?
that's a whole nother situation. That's a whole nother topic. But yeah, getting the value for your buck in terms of nutrition, is something that teams are very that they're looking into pretty heavy these days.
All right, good question. Jax says, can you just discuss some hitting things you worked on when you were struggling or learning to be a professional hitter?
So one of the main things that I noticed when I started finally looking at video was I used to be a no stride kind of guy, but when I looked at video when I was hot, um, even with the no stride, I still was able to gain ground within my legs some sort of way. When I went ice cold, my foot would come up in the air and it would come back down in the same spot. So what that was doing was it was causing me, I was quick to the ball, but I was turning off of it immediately. So it didn't matter how deep I let it get. It didn't matter if I saw the ball or not because I was seeing it well. It's not like I was swinging and missing. but I wasn't able to create consistent hard contact. And that was the issue I was having when I was struggling. So people can look at my stats and say, well, he wasn't striking out. He's putting the ball in play. But the question is, how hard was I putting it in play? Was I consistently hitting ground balls to second, weak ground balls to second? Was I consistently flaring out to left field? So when I, dissected that part of my swing, it was a matter of finding drills that related specifically to that, and creating a routine around my normal routine that I was used to, that I liked, that helped me, throughout the course of my career, but just implementing a few new things that would continue to help improve my game.
All right. D-Rob says good stuff to deal with the adversities, being up and down. Everyone trying to stay in the show. Kudos to you. Keep grinding. All right. No doubt about it. I know you are young, but at one time it was common to have 4 to 6 of the starters as Black American. Now only 1 or 2 on the team. What is going on in the minors that eliminates Black ball players? Why did you make it and others did not?
That's a pretty loaded question. In some cases, it's the player themselves. Like every once in a while, the drive to continue to be successful playing just falters, and they just sometimes don't want to continue playing anymore because of, like you said, just you can see the stats, they show themselves, and if they take that into account and it causes them to, lack the confidence that they might make it, or, just whatever the case may be, that could be one reason. On the other side, we have a situation where in the inner cities of a lot of cities in the U.S., there are young Black kids, Black players that don't have the resources to get their name out there for teams to be interested in them. So what you end up with are the guys who are pure raw talent that have the ability, but it's just a matter of how quickly can they fine tune what they have to play at the big league level for an extended period of time. And if we were because baseball is expensive. Like I was in a situation where I was fortunate to be able to go to the perfect game events, but those were $500 a pop. And then it depended on how far away you were, you might ended up having to travel. So you have money on gas, just the transportation itself, food, hotels, wherever you had to stay, and that, can climb up. So if you don't take advantage of those opportunities, then you end up in the same situation where you're struggling to try to find, where do I stand in terms of potentially getting my name picked up, and just having different scenarios like that. Also, what can potentially happen is that you have a Black player that goes to a huge school but doesn't see playing time early and often. So they end up going to a school where the name's great, like, oh man, he's at UNC, he's at Clemson, he's at this, that, but he doesn't play until sophomore, junior year. So then it's like he's playing catch up because you have other guys who have been in, like their names have been out and about for years up to this point. And you're trying to put yourself in a situation where I got to put up ridiculous numbers in a short time span to put my name on that list.
Hey, I hope that last part right there, Lord, all right. Especially, we talking this college. I mean, everything he said was A1, man. But that last part, Lord mercy. Speak that truth, bro. Great answer, man. Great answer. Vincent says, "What's up, guys? D, thanks for bringing on another great guest. Cedric, thanks for coming on. You got new fans here in Cleveland, all right? Until you go out there and bust, Cleveland. You know what?
Well, that's some family out in Ohio. So
all right,
always
cool.
Good to have.
What is your approach when you stand in the box, Javier? What's up, Javier?
Javier, my approach when I get in the box is being able to trust everything I've done, preparation wise, up to that point. You can't have too many thoughts in your head. I've never wanted to really guess pitches or, oh man, how am I feeling? Like when I'm feeling really good, you just gotta let your body do what it does, and that's be a pure athlete. You're gonna go out there and you're gonna do your thing, and just the confidence will help you in the box alone, and then the hard work that you put in over the course of day after day after day of continuing to try to perfect your craft, it shows when you get out on the field.
All right. Momo says, can defense alone get you to college?
I would say no. And the reason why I say that is because college teams are always looking for the guy who is ready to play when they get there. Like, they're looking for the guy who's able to compete with guys who are 3-4 years older than him the moment he shows up. And defense alone is really hard for you to really stay on the field if defense is the only thing you can bring to a team. And so you might have a situation where you can be on the team and be a defensive replacement in a tight spot because they know they can trust your defense. But because this is also something I went through, just in my professional career. But if they don't trust your bat, you might not be in the lineup.
Amen. All right. Amen to that. So I want to talk about from a scheduling season wise. COVID has just messed everything up, but a normal season. All right. So you playing. What's a normal off season for Cedric, the big leaguer, as far as things to do month to month, and then into the training, into the spring training? What's an off season like for a big leaguer?
So my off season, everyone has their own approach. My off season is the moment they say, "Hey, you're done for the year, solid year, whatever the case may be." I take a whole month off. Like, it's catching up with my girl who lives in another state, so I'm able to spend some time with her. But I take that whole month off of just doing what I enjoy doing, whether that be playing video games, watching TV, going hiking, whatever the case. I'm not doing anything baseball related. Promise you, I might not watch a single video. It is what it is. I'll get back when playoffs start getting. But past that, it's like, man, I need a break. I need a serious break. But right after that, I start a little earlier than most people. I get right back into the gym. So I start off a little slow. I really focus on more conditioning than hitting the weights heavy early. So it's a matter of getting my body prepared to hit the weights hard, hitting hard, because I feel like each aspect of the game has its own level of conditioning you need. It's totally different. I can be a marathon runner, but I can't take 50 swings without being tired. So, it's a matter of preparing for each aspect of that. So typically that's what I start off with, and then I get into my weight routine. Typically I'm a four days a week kind of guy with a day of scheduling some sort of massage or something to take care of my legs, which is my greatest asset. So I got to take care of them in one way or another. Got to prevent the injury. But past that, hit the legs heavy. Getting as strong as I can, leg bottom half wise. But at the same time, if I'm gaining weight, doing a lot of speed work, being able to maintain the speed, if not get better than where I am the previous year. And I'm able to, see where I was at the previous year. The numbers are there, how much I weighed, how I felt, how fast was I, what was my sprint speed, whatever the case may be, how did I move well in terms of my lateral movement. They got all that stuff for you. And just being able to take that and run with it, and talking to, my strength coaches that I have, my speed agility coaches that I have, and showing them what I need to work on, but at the same time continuing to progress in these other things too. So once we hit that, I go after that so let's say I have October off. I get November and December to go crazy with the weights and the speed work. And then come around January is when I start to pick up a bat again. So, it's learn how to feel the bat again, throw in, making sure my arm is stretched out, because if I got, big, I got to stay loose. So I got to focus on making sure the muscles in the shoulder are loose so that I don't hurt anything. Make sure the muscles in my oblique section, on both sides of my body are feeling good, and make sure there's no injury involved, so that when I start hitting, I can go, pretty hard, go all out to get an idea of where I'm at in terms of my swing. And then I really focus on, how much force I'm able to put into my swing, but still maintain control. And then I kind of backtrack from there. So it's, can I generate more power without losing my mechanics or without losing my barrel, mid swing, and then it comes to, okay, what can I do to continue to work on those things? So I do a lot of top hand drills, a lot of rotational type stuff with a medicine ball to make sure that my body is working in a singular direction and not, pulling off in any kind of way, because that's where you lead. That's what leads to trouble, is when your body is not in sync. And but yeah, once the hitting comes around, and I'm ready to start day one when I get to spring training.
So you're not saying you're not coming to spring training to get in shape.
No,
you're ready. Okay.
I'm ready to go. If the season started that day, I would be physically ready to go. Maybe not mentally totally yet.
Right.
But I'm physically ready to go.
All right. Yeah, I heard it. Okay. Love it. We got a few more questions coming in, bro. All right. And then I'll get you up out of it. I appreciate your time, man. All right. Jacob says, I've heard the minors can be very cutthroat, meaning your teammates are almost eternally happy when you have a bad day, a game. Is this something that just comes with the territory, being an ultimate competitor and competing for a job at the next level? And is that the atmosphere different in college versus the minors?
I'd say the atmosphere is pretty similar in a sense. It's definitely a lot different once you get to the minors, because there's dudes coming in every single year trying to get to the spot where you're at, and you might be in a situation where, you've solidified yourself, as a pretty solid player, but then here comes this first round guy who they want to see play, and he's going to get slapped up in your spot, and they might hold you back just for his sake. There's all kinds of stuff that can potentially happen when it comes to just competing in general. And like I said, in terms of guys, being internally happy when you have a bad game, that's on them. That's nothing that you can control. You're going to continue to do your thing out there. And more than likely, it's going to just only affect their performance. Like, they're going to be so focused on what you're doing, they're not even going to be worried about what's on their plate. And so when that starts to happen, you just start to make that gap even wider. And the next thing they know, they're trying to keep away from the guy behind them. So, that's nothing that I'd necessarily pay attention to if you're in a situation where you have a guy that's envious of your play. But, it is a situation where, just coming into this spring training, I got, 3-4 dudes trying to take center field. So what I have to do, I have to prepare. I have to, and not only outperform them, there's a lot of preparation involved. But at the same time, you got to make sure you take care of all the things that will keep you on the field, because I say there's a situation where it happened to me this past year. I was mostly a bench guy, and all of a sudden our starting center fielder got hit in the ribs and had a fractured rib. And I was next in line, and I got up there and I performed really well. And when he got called back up, my defense, especially in center field, played up so well that he ended up moving to left for mostly the remainder of the season. We kind of mixed and matched towards the end. But, it was a situation where I was able to solidify, some sort of position for me, because I was focused simply on me.
I love it, man. That's a great answer. We got Sharice, and how much time did you put in continuing to work after team practice at your level?
In the minor and big league level, you put in so much work that even when practice is done, you're done. And there's not a situation, because typically, they close everything down. You're not going to be able to go into the cage after a game, because, again, these are people who have families that they want to get home to, and, they have lives outside of baseball, and you're not trying to, obstruct any of that from their personal time. When I was in college, that didn't mean anything to me. Like, it was, hey, I'm trying to get some extra work in. Whoever's trying to stay can stay. If not, I'll put it on the team itself. Like, it doesn't matter, because the facility was just always open whenever I wanted it. So it was like, and I have guys from, especially my junior college days, that can vouch for me. They're like, yeah, this dude hit extra balls off the tee every single day. I could have had an immaculate round of BP, but I was still putting in some kind of work just to continue to get better.
All right. All right. I'm behind in the interview. I might have missed it. But what age did you start playing, and when did you know that you were good?
So I started playing when I was 4. The moment I knew I was good, I honestly don't know. It was just, hey, I'm still playing, but I didn't know I was good or not because I felt like we didn't keep track of numbers. So it was more or less team oriented. You're learning teamwork especially at a young age.
Mm.
If we won, we were playing well. If we lost, we didn't play well. So it was just whatever the team did was how I felt.
All right. I love this question here. Why did you attend the JUCO over a 4-year school? Who advised you to go to JUCO? Being small, were you on the draft radar in high school?
So it's funny to say that I was kind of pushed there by force, but because especially around my age group, or my draft class, or my graduating class, everyone wanted to go D1, big D1. It didn't matter. It was like, nah, I'm trying to go to
Eh,
Georgia
Ain't
Tech,
nothing changed.
Georgia.
Ain't nothing changed.
So nothing's changed. So
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
wants to go big D1. The problem was when I started talking to some of these schools, especially my junior year when they were allowed to do so. I had a great conversation with one school, and when it came to the season, I didn't start. So I didn't start my junior year on varsity. In fact, I only got 11 at bats that entire year. So
Y'all was good like that,
we're
man.
talking about a whole different thing now.
Right.
So,
I'm gonna get into that. Yeah.
But what had happened was schools started to disappear. Like it's not like they were saying, "Hey, we're gonna go in a different direction." It'd be I would try to contact them, and they just wouldn't even respond. So I was like, "That's disrespectful." But okay, I understand. But coming to my senior year, my high school attended um, some high school invitational that was held out in North Carolina,
Okay.
and I ended up getting noticed by Lewisburg College out there.
Mm.
And I also attended one perfect game event where that same exact school was there looking at players to potentially pick up.
Oh
And
wow.
I had a good showing at both of these events. And so we
Mm.
started talking, ended up going on a visit to Lewisburg College. And I knew about the track record, based off my own research. The year before I got there, they were 54-9. So I was like, oh,
Yeah,
so
powerhouse. Yeah.
y'all top tier junior college.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Right.
Y'all, laying it down on some teams.
Right.
That's what's up. So, when all that kind of came together and they had they made their scholarship offer and I was looking at my options and I was like, well, I really don't have that many. So I was like, okay, you know what? This school has proven to be competitive. That was the most important thing for me, and being able to play was the other thing.
Right.
And that's what led to my decision.
Mm. And so, being small, were you on the draft radar out of high school? I mean, I'm going on a limb and answer that. Okay, let me go and answer that
Hey, you
because
go ahead
I
and
got
answer
because he just dropped the nugget for all and honestly, my boy Bobby Scales is a minor league coordinator at the Pirates. I'm a longtime friend of mine.
that. Oh,
He talked about not getting cut in high school and then coming on over there in the Atlanta area and then essentially making it to the big leagues, walking on to college. So here you are. And so for parents out there that just, swear that, I mean, I don't even know what they should be thinking once you hearing my man said he didn't even start his junior year in high school, a big leaguer now. Here he is in the big league saying he only had 11 ABs his junior year. And so that should give every parent some form of, hey, we're gonna be all right. My man did it. So a testament to you, brother. 11 ABs as a junior, didn't even play his junior year, and
yep,
made it to the big leagues, man.
got 7 hits. So I was wondering, what's up?
Still rolls the bits. It was Dad. Shout out to Dad right there. I ain't hooking this up, man. That is crazy, man. Wow. Y'all was a powerhouse like that, man. What's up, man?
We were one of those 5A teams where we had, but at the same time, I felt like somebody out there I could be, outperforming right now to help the team. But that wasn't my decision. I was just going to continue to grind. and see what I could do. And I knew that my shot was next year, and there was no way I was finna miss it. That's really all it was.
That's a great story right there, bro. All right. Being 5'8", did you see it tougher as getting into the next level, being 5'8"?
Once I got to a certain point in my career, especially once I got past junior college, my height didn't matter. Like, I finally had gotten to a point where I was physically strong, had the speed to back up all the power, and I was putting balls just as deep. I mean, if the fence is 330, what you need, 331, so it's still a home run.
But you hit multiple, you hit double figure home runs, so you got some snap in your back.
Yeah. So I had finally figured out, how to use my entire body with my swing, and just how to, just figuring out my body on its own, and how to, utilize every part of it. And when I had figured that out, my height meant absolutely nothing. I mean, we see Altuve out there snapping 30. So, I mean, he did the same exact thing. It's like, shoot, he first got there and he wasn't really putting them out like that.
That's right.
I'm going to be the guy that can spray the ball. And
that's right.
When he got comfortable and he started to figure himself out.
You start looking for them pitches and start letting it go a little bit, starting to eat a little bit. All right. Herman says, when you were drafted, what was a tool that scouts really liked? What was your best tool?
So I'd say my best tool was my speed along with my defense, but I was still a solid hitter. So it was, I felt like I could have been drafted out of junior college, because my junior college numbers, I know average wise, my first year I hit 378, and then my second year I hit 418. So I knew I was hitting really well. I mean, stolen base wise, I was like 20 for 23 my first year, and I think I went 25 for 25 my second year. So that was something that scouts were looking at, and they were like, we like what we see. We want to see you at, a higher level. So that's when going to Campbell was kind of the push there, because it was, let's see how you compete against a few other people who are quote unquote better than these guys.
Right. Okay. What was the 60 time?
60 time. So the story behind that, I can tell people how much I worked on my speed alone. Out of high school, I ran a 7. Out of high school, I ran a 760, and you can go to Perfect Game right now. It is marked a 702 right now.
That is crazy, man.
Going after my first year, that's when I really started to hit the legs heavy and do speed work. Got it down to a 6'8". Okay, starting to figure some things out. Year after that, 6'6". Year after that, 6'4". So it was just constant, and that was my best time, like a 6'4'4". But it was just constant work that I was putting in. I started figuring out different things that different people did. And it was mostly summer. So when I would go to collegiate leagues during the summer, it was about playing well in the field, but it was mostly about taking advantage of every moment I could, getting in the gym, working on things that I knew would help me progress for the season.
Did you have that? Did you have that? I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off, but I'm getting more and more inspired by listening to it. I'm like, yo, so you the classic guy, like, yo, I'm a little dude, late bloomer, and I, essentially you're working for everything, so everything is kind of coming later than most guys. So, damn, you know what I'm saying? 7 flat out of high school, and you get down to a 6'4", which is, that's hard to do at 18, 19, 20 years old, to get down to a 6'4", man. That's crazy. I hope y'all listening, parents, man.
Like, I know a lot of guys who are just, because I was never a dude that could showcase individual talents like that well. I was always a guy that game speed, I felt like I was the best man out there. Like, I was able to show all my tools game speed. But if you just had me take BP, I did some line drives, but I wasn't the type of dude that would put him out the park every swing.
Right.
And I wasn't the dude that would burn the guy next to me who could run a 6'6".
Right.
I think out of high school, my peak velo was around 87, 88 from the outfield. So it was a bunch of things that I just kind of broke down. I was like, okay, well, how can I get better at each thing right now?
I hope y'all getting y'all getting the earful, man. I mean, I love bringing on top level athletes, man, because it inspires me. But just didn't play junior year, but 11-8, balled out when a few ABs he got in the junior year. 7 flat out of high school. and got him all the way down to 6'4". So it's just classic of like, yo, I worked to get drafted. I worked to get to the league. Basically, that's what he's saying, man. So kudos to you, man. All right, a couple more, man. I'll get you up out of here, man. Yeah, great story. Did you move from North Carolina to attend a high school in Georgia just for baseball or no?
No, so my family moved to Georgia when I was 1, and we stayed in this area ever since. So the district that I was in just happened to be very competitive baseball wise, and it was really good academics wise. So that's where I attended, and that's where the high school was at.
All right. My boy Jojo Best said, true story. D said was the only high school player in Gwinnett County to hit velo of 100 miles per hour off the pro batter machine. Josh, what up, son? My boy Josh. And I had Josh and I had at Hitters Box in 2013. Most overlooked and underrated player I've ever seen. Man. And there you go, man. And for all those parents that, oh, my kid is not getting seen and, he's running this and that, to keep putting the work, just keep plugging away. That's all it is. That's all he's doing. Just kept knocking himself, what I'm saying, learning. Well, how can I get faster? I'm not hitting the way I want to. What can I do? What kind of drills to improve on? Oh, my velo ain't there. And he just kept going. And he just kept, proving people wrong. Then keep, harp on the size, anything like that. There's no reason why these dudes get to the league, dad, moms and dads, man. There's no reason. You hear these stories, man. So, man, listen, I'm gonna get two last questions in. I'm gonna get you out of here. Thank you for your time, man. All right, last two and get you out of here, man. I know the time is valuable, man. What are some good drills, exercise to work on for speed?
So what I would do for speed was that I got introduced to the ladder, at one point, and I really focused on trying to have quick footwork, being light on my feet, but also not, messing the ladder up. So it was a matter of how quick could I do this drill with to perfection, as best as I could. And then it was a matter of doing the drills that would loosen up, your hips and, learn how to drive your legs. And so it was like the A skips and the B skips. You might warm up with that stuff, but those are actual drills that you need to take seriously, on your own time. And learn what kind of form these people. Because I looked at video, YouTube, blessing in disguise. Because I'd go on there and I'd be like, drills to get faster, and they would show me exactly what they would do to get faster. And then of course you run into somebody who, might have a few other things to add, and then you run into that speed coach that might have this to add. But all of it is progressive. All of it helps you in some form or fashion, and especially when you start, getting to a point where you're able to lift weights. I would do speed work immediately after a leg day. So regardless of how tired I was, like my body would want to shut down, but take a little time off, of course, in between doing those things, so to try to recover a little bit. But if you were able to push your body just a little bit further past its limits, like that's when your body would really show you what it's capable of.
All right. Bill says thanks for the info. Hopefully we'll be able to catch some live games at Camden this year. Hopefully. All right. Dad says his uncle and cousin were track guys too. His cousin really helped with training when younger too. All right. All right. Last question is 3 and 4 and 1. All right. We get out of here. We know that there are a lot of players out there that have the talent and should be in the majors. But what was the one key factor that kept them from being picked up? Was it attitude, being a good teammate, not putting in the work, taking their talent for granted?
So I'd say, because like I said, they're right. There are a ton of people out there that have the talent, should be in the majors, but typically the one thing or the two things that separate them from other people is taking their talent for granted, thinking that it's just going to be a given after they get to a certain point. And the second thing is your mental state. Like if you're not able to, especially in baseball, if you're not able to accept that failure is literally just a part of the game, and like they say all the time, 3 out of 10 times and you're an all-star, you're a Hall of Famer. So it's a part of the game, so you can't take everything too seriously, because that'll kind of mess you up in the long run. But it's just a matter of knowing how to analyze what you need to. So it's like, okay, if I'm really feeling off about something, what can I do? What's my approach? What should I do to try to correct it? Sooner rather than later, because at some point these failures are going to just continue to pile up on me, pile up on me, pile up on me, and I promise you, it's hard to keep your mental state strong when that's the case. That's why, I give. It's rare that I give myself my own credit, but when I came off of that 2019 season and came back with a strong showing, I give myself credit for that, because it was very hard to be in the quote unquote limelight and having everyone just see you drown out there on the field, and it's like no life raft, no nothing. It's, hey, you better figure out how to swim. We can try our best, but at the end of the day, it's on you.
Hey, I'm getting goosebumps thing, because I know what you Justin, I know what you're talking about, man, on a whole nother level, man. Listen, I'm gonna have one more question, one more suggest need something I need from you, just to kind of give piece to just take us home with. So think about that as I say my little goodbyes. Listen, so I hope parents, I appreciate you guys, and listen, I hope you guys get this knowledge my man talked about. I didn't play his junior year, but only had 11 ABs his junior year. All right, 7 flat out of high school. Worked himself, junior college, no big schools wanted him. Went to JUCO, another JUCO kid. All right, parents talk about poo-poo JUCO. All right, another JUCO made it to the major league. All right, but hard work, put up numbers. They still could have got drafted out of JUCO, but they said they wanted to see some more of him. I did that. All right, 13th round, not a high round, made himself into a prospect, into a top 5 Baltimore Orioles prospect after starting in the top 30. All right, then goes out, balls out, gets sent down, works himself back up into the major leagues after people essentially wondering if he can do it. All right, so it's a testament to just keep grinding. This is what this guy is all about, man. I love learning about high level athletes, man. So kudos to you, man, and parents. I hope you got these nuggets that my man was dropping. So real fast on my end, next Saturday we are just remember the showcase we're having out there in Alabama. All right, so still room over there to sign up. So I'm gonna post the link over here to sign up. All right, so I will be on Monday. I hope everybody have a great week, and I will be on Monday. I will have Wright State assistant coach coming on, all right, up in Ohio, and we're gonna be having about 2 or 3 college coaches coming on next week, so it should be a fun. Back to the college links, and I appreciate my man giving me a little big league touch to this. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, parents, we'll be back on Monday with Wright State. So. Yes, Jax, this is rewatchable. You can I will tag and share this, and you can always go back to my page and watch this. And I highly suggest that you guys tag, replay, share this. It's a big leaguer talking about some real stuff, how he made to the big leagues. Okay, everybody keep thinking everybody's got to be 6'5" and all of this to whatever. He made himself into that. All right. So anyway, if you could, brother, take us on out with a great message, man. You've been popping nuggets out all day, but please, you know what I'm saying? If you could, man.
The most important thing I can say is just, continue to have that discipline. I know that, especially early out of high school, college, just find a way to, create that work ethic along with your social life, because we all got to have it. It's important. Never going to take that away from people. I don't want people to think that I worked 24/7. It's very important to, continue to have a life outside of baseball, because that's how you appreciate the work that you put in when it starts to show. That's all I can say.
All right, cool. If you could, Twitter, Instagram, what people want to follow your success.
My Twitter and Instagram handle is literally my name. You type in Cedric Mullins, you'll find me on those. I'm not afraid to follow people back. I'm not afraid to message people who have questions or, want a little advice here and there. It's part of the job. It's part of, what I feel like is me giving back to the community on, what I did coming up through high school, college to make it to where I am. And, some people might not like what I had to do, but it's what I had to do. It was not the easy route. It was not fun. It was me trying to attain my dream since I was 4, 5, 6 years old.
Mm, mm, mm. All right, there you go. So go ahead and follow this guy. Instagram and Twitter is the same. So go follow him. He said it. He possibly, if you have questions, that's dope. All right. How easy to, how cool is that to have a big leaguer answer your question? Okay, that you may have, man. I'm it is what it is. So yeah, I have hoodies. I have hats, all of that. All right. Come holler at me. Go find and message me. All right. My boy over there looking out for me. Yeah, I got the hoodies and everything, man. Y'all looking out for that, man. All right. All right. Appreciate y'all. Listen, Seth, appreciate you, my brother. Thank you, man. Inspiring story. Much success to you, man. I'll definitely, be following your success and doing your thing, man. Go ahead and just, solidify that spot, man, and just, ball out, man. Have that 10-year career, that you're more than capable of doing. All right, man?
Dude, appreciate you having me.
All right, cool. Parents, Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern. All right, you guys there, be there. Share this and tag this message, man. Dope interview right here. All right, see y'all. Peace.